like how the creation between the Catholic story and the story on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then also in the Muslim side. So there's a lot of story. So we're trying to link each and one of them, and then she got convinced because we all go through all of the other religions, like the Muslim, the Buddhist, the Christians, the Latter Day Saints, and then at the last, I told her that okay, now watch how the Srimad Bhagavatam tells you all about the creation, other planets, where do we go after death, after we passed away. So that's the time that probably she was convinced that okay, this is a much more higher platform than any other else.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Okay, David, I'd like to hear your story actually. You can be the last person, and then maybe next time we can ask others. You can just quickly introduce yourself. Oh, your mic is off.
How about now? Is it working now?
Yeah, it's good. We can hear
Okay.
you nice and clear.
I'm not very good with technology.
Me neither.
And I have really enjoyed the Srimad Bhagavan classes that we've had before, and I'm really eager to study more. I live in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, and I just found copies. I thought that Srimad Bhagavatam had not been translated into Vietnamese, but it has been. I have not verified the accuracy of the translation. I need to do that still, but and it's expensive. I think the book cost almost $10, and I don't know how I'm gonna make more copies of it. But
Uh,
that's where I'm at right now. I'm working on that, and I'm working on some things to do more here. But it's a slow process.
yeah.
So you know, I got things really good though. I got a nice garden up upstairs, and we have lots of fresh flowers and vegetables that I grow upstairs, and
Mhm.
that's nice. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Thank you, David. It's always good to stay on the positive, you know? It's very hard to preach in these new places that are untouched,
Oh my
you
goodness, yeah.
know? And then it's, when we don't have so much association, physical association also very difficult to make things
That's what I miss the
happen.
most. I miss the most is the association. So it's so nice
Yeah.
to be with you all today. It really is. It really makes a difference for me.
That's great. That's we're happy to hear that, David. Okay, so we can begin. We'll read Srimad Bhagavatam. Does someone want to share because I'm on my phone? I'm, not opulent brahmachari. I don't have a laptop, so
Where are we?
who has a laptop or who's like to share, they can put up Srimad Bhagavatam on their phone, or I mean, on the meeting, and share. Okay, Jai.
We're doing
Thank you, Raj. So, is it the same way we were yesterday or last week?
Are we reading Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, we're in the introduction,
Okay.
and we were just reading. It's difficult to find where we're up to because it's not like we're reading from verse to verse. Um, but we're on the short sketch of the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It's like a subheading in the introduction,
Mhm.
and we've read about 5 pages. So if we just scroll down, we're up to a section where it says, once a pilgrim Brahmana was received at the house of Jagannath Mishra. Okay, yeah. So you scroll down. Here we are. Yeah, found it. So, oh, I'll start reading. Oh, I just wanted to answer Rasaraj's question from last week. It's not a thorough answer, but it's a short answer. It's explained in um Ganadesh Dipika. Kavikana Prabhu states that Vishwarup, which is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's elder brother, is a is actually Lord Sankarshan. So it's like basically expansion of um, Lord Balaram. So anyway, there's an explanation that because Vishwarup also took sannyas, therefore, like following in the footsteps of his older brother, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he felt like obliged or encouraged to also take sannyas, um, just to like give the right example. Um, so yeah, there's a short answer for you, Rasaraj Prabhu.
Wow, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Can you mention the book again? What's the name of the book in the
It's called,
reference?
yeah, I forget the full name. It's called Ganadesh Dipika. It's by Kavi Kanapur, uh, Kavi Kanapur Prabhu, not not our
Prabhu
friend Kavi
Kavi?
Kanapur Prabhu,
Not
but
our Kavi. Okay,
not,
Prabhu.
not him, but
That will be so good though. But okay, thank you, Prabhu. I appreciate that. I will also try to look it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, I'll just read a little bit and then we'll take turns. We can discuss as we go along. Okay, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Uh, just say Ram Namaskrityam Ram Shaiva Namotamam Devim Saravatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nastaprayashu Bhagaveshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Sevaya.
Bhagavati
Bhagavatir
Namaste
Utamashloke. Bhaktir Bhagavatir Naishake.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami
Swami
Namane
Namine.
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati Deve
Saraswati Devi
Gauravani
Gaura.
Pracharine
Visesa
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate
Dushatarine.
Shavadini Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare 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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama Rama
Ram.
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare. Okay, so I'll start. Once a pilgrim Brahmana was received at the house of Jagannath Mishra, and when he was offering food to the Godhead, the Lord appeared before him and partook of the prepared food. The eatables had to be rejected because the child touched them, and so the Brahmana had to make another preparation. The next time, the same thing happened, and when this happened repeatedly for the third time, the baby was finally put to bed. At about 12 at night, when all the members of the house were fast asleep within their closed rooms, the pilgrim Brahmana offered his specially prepared foods to the deity. And in the same way, the baby Lord appeared before the pilgrim and spoiled his offerings. The Brahmana then began to cry, but since everyone was fast asleep, no one could hear him. At that time, the baby Lord appeared before the fortunate Brahmana and disclosed his identity as Krishna himself. The Brahmana was forbidden to disclose this incident, and the baby returned to the lap of his mother. There are many similar instances in his childhood. As a naughty boy, he sometimes used to tease the Orthodox Brahmanas who used to bathe in the Ganges. When the Brahmanas complained to his father that he was splashing them with water instead of attending school, the Lord suddenly appeared before his father as though just coming from school with all his school clothes and books. At the bathing gut, he also used to play jokes on the neighboring girls who engaged in worshipping Shiva in hopes of getting good husbands. This is a common practice amongst unmarried girls in Hindu families. While they were engaged in such worship, the Lord naughtily appeared before them and said, "My dear sisters, please give me all the offerings you have just brought for Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is my devotee, and Parvati is my maidservant. If you worship me, then Lord Shiva and all the other demigods will be more satisfied." Some of them refused to obey the naughty Lord, and he would curse them that due to their refusal they would be married to old men who had several children by their previous wives. Out of fear and sometimes out of love, the girls would also offer him various goods. And then the Lord would bless them and assure them that they would have very good young husbands, and that they would be mothers of dozens of children. The blessings would enliven the girls, but they used often to complain of these incidences to their mothers. In this way, the Lord passed his early childhood. When he was just 16 years old, he started his own Chatuspati, village school conducted by a learned Brahmana. In this school, he would simply explain Krishna even in readings of grammar. Srila Jiva Goswami, in order to please the Lord, later composed a grammar in Sanskrit in which all the rules of grammar were explained with examples that use the holy names of the Lord. This grammar is still current. It is known as the Hari Namamrita Vyakarana and is prescribed in the syllabus of schools in Bengal. During this time, a great Kashmir scholar named Keshava Kashmiri came to Navadvip to hold discussions on the Sastra. The Kashmir Pandit was a champion scholar and he had traveled to all places of learning in India. Finally, he came to Navadvip to contest the learned Pandits there. The Pandits of Navadvip decided to match Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya, with the Kashmir Pandit, thinking that if Nimai Pandit were defeated, they would have another chance to debate with the scholar, for Nimai Pandit was only a boy. And if the Kashmir Pandit were defeated, then they would even be more glorified because people would proclaim that a mere boy of Navadvip had defeated a champion scholar who was famous throughout India. It so happened that Nimai Pandit met Keshava Kashmir while strolling on the banks of the Ganges. The Lord requested him to compose a Sanskrit verse in praise of the Ganges, and the Pandit within a short time composed 100 slokas. Slokas means verses. Reciting the verses like a storm and showing the strength of his vast learning. Nimai Pandit at once memorized all the slokas without an error. He quoted the 64th sloka and pointed out certain rhetorical and literary irregularities. He particularly questioned the Pandit's use of the word Bhavani Bhartuhu. He pointed out that the use of this word was redundant. Bhavani means the wife of Shiva, and who else can be her Bharta or husband? He also pointed out several other discrepancies, and the Kashmir Pandit was struck with wonder. He was astonished that a mere student of grammar could point out the literary mistakes of an erudite scholar. Although this matter was ended prior to any public meeting, the news spread like wildfire all over Navadvip. But finally, Keshava Kashmiri was ordered in a dream by Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to submit to the Lord, and thus the Kashmir Pandit became a follower of the Lord. So, yeah, these are very wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth, when he's, from childhood to his youth, how he's spoiling the offerings that the Brahmana was making to the deity of Krishna, because of course Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also Krishna. So all these pastimes are there to help us to evoke love for Krishna. Actually, his naughtiness and his you know um and all of these qualities are there to attract us to him. Um and actually a lot of these activities are basically identical to the activities that Krishna performs in Vrindavan. Although the um although it's performed in um Navadvip, because Navadvip and Vrindavan are basically identical manifestations in the spiritual world, but they have different how to say the how to say the in Navadvip it's how to say there's more mercy there because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to bestow mercy, to give mercy to all the fallen conditioned souls. And then also we learn so much about the culture of India by reading these pastimes. Other girls they would worship Lord Shiva um, and bring offerings for Lord Shiva. Basically, because Lord Shiva is called Ashutosh, he's very easily pleased. And so, especially his wife Parvati, there is a Katyayani Vrat after Kartik every year. There's a Katyayani Vrat. So Katyayani is one of the forms of Durga, which is one of the forms of Lord Shiva's wife. So in Vrindavan, in the pastimes in Vrindavan, then all the gopis they would worship Katyayani for 1 month, and they would perform a vow that they would only eat like unspiced khichdi, basically rice and dal mixed together, but there's no salt and there's no spices, so it's really tasteless. So the vow is just there to please Katyayani so that they can have Krishna as their husband. So the same kind of pastime is taking place here. But they're making the offerings to Lord Shiva. So very similar pastime. And then moving forward to his early childhood, yes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's known as Nimai Pandit, he was very learned because his parents are, he comes from a Brahminical, or he appeared in a Brahminical family, very learned family. And it was the nature of Navadvip at that time, Mayapur Navadvip, that many, how to say, grammaticians, intelligent like pundits and whatnot would come there, and then they would engage in intellectual debates between each other to show who was more intelligent. Basically, it was just like an ego trip, just challenging each other, who was smarter, who was more intelligent than the other. So even Nimai Pandit, he was, sorry, even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was involved in these activities, in the local activities of that time, 500 years ago. So yeah, anyone would like to read? Anyone like to make a comment about what we've just read? Well, hello, Mr. Tadeo. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I didn't see you. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna. I can read Prabhu if
Hare Krishna. And also, Michelle Alvarez, thank you for joining. I didn't have I didn't have the video of all the people who are joining, so I didn't realize that some people had joined. Yeah, thank you. Anyone like to say anything or
Okay, Prabhu, I can you. Do you want us to tell you who are the people who are here?
Hmm? No, it's just because I didn't recognize that some people had joined. I didn't realize, so I was just acknowledging that they had entered the meeting. Also, am I lagging?
No, Prabhu, you're good.
No? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So anyone would like to read next? Prabhu Ryan, Hare Krishna.
Uh, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
So, okay, I will read.
Would you like to read? Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, the Lord was then married with a great pomp and gaiety. At the time, he began to preach the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord at Nabadwip. Some of the Brahmanas became envious of his popularity, and they put many hindrances on his path. They were so jealous that they finally took the matter before the Muslim magistrate at Nabadwip. Bengal was then governed by the Pathans, and the governor of the province was Nawab Hussain Shah. The Muslim magistrate of Nabadwip took up the complaints of the Brahmanas seriously, and at first he warned the followers of Nimai Pandit not to chant loudly the name of Hari. But Lord Chaitanya asked his followers to disobey the orders of the Kasi, and they went on their Sankirtan, chanting, party as usual. The magistrate then sent constable who interrupted a Sankirtan and broke some of the mirdangas, drums. When Nimai Pandit heard of the incident, he organized a party for civil disobedience. He is the pioneer of the civil disobedience movement in India for the right cause. He organized a procession of 100,000 men with thousands of mridangas and kartals, the hand cymbals. And this procession passed over the roads of Nabadwip in defiance of the Kasi who had issued the order. Finally, the procession reached the house of the Kasi, who went upstairs out of fear of the masses. The great crowds assembled at the Kasi's house displayed a violent temper, but the Lord asked them to be peaceful. At this time, the Kasi came down and tried to pacify the Lord by addressing him as nephew. He pointed out that he referred to Nilambara Chakrabarti as uncle, and thus Srimati Sachidevi, Nimai Pandit's mother, was his cousin's sister. He asked the Lord whether his sister's son could be angry at his maternal uncle, and the Lord replied that since the Kasi was his maternal uncle, he should receive his nephew well at his home. In this way, the issue was mitigated, and the two learned scholars began a long discussion on the Quran and the Hindu Shastras. The Lord raised the question of cow killing, and the Kasi properly answered him by referring to the Quran. In turn, the Kasi also questioned the Lord about cow sacrifice in the Vedas, and the Lord replied that such sacrifice as mentioned in the Vedas is not actually cow killing. In that sacrifice, an old bull or cow was sacrificed for the sake of receiving a fresh younger life by the power of Vedic mantras. But in the Kali Yuga, such cow sacrifice are forbidden because there are no qualified brahmanas capable of conducting such a sacrifice. In fact, in Kali Yuga, all yagnas, the sacrifices, are forbidden because They are useless attempts by foolish men. In Kali Yuga, only the Sankirtan Yagna is recommended for all practical purposes. Speaking in this way, the Lord finally convinced the Kasi, who became the Lord's follower. The Kasi thenceforth declared that no one should hinder the Sankirtan movement which was started by the Lord, and the Kasi left this order in his will for the sake of progeny. The Kasi tombs still exist in the area of Navadvip, and the Hindu pilgrim go there to show their respects. The Kasi descendants are residents, and they never objected to Sankirtan even during the Hindu-Muslim riot days. In this incident, should I continue, Prabhu Chaitanya?
Yeah, you can just stop for a moment.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Ryan. So we can see actually the nature of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He you know, when he can see that there is how to say oppression, you know, then he doesn't just sit silent, you know. He takes up he gathers his followers and then he complains. You know, he goes personally up to the Muslim magistrate and asks for his right to perform his religious beliefs. And he even converted Nawab Sahin Shah, converted him. And actually, if you go to Navadvip on the yeah, right there in Navadvip, is very nearby the Iskcon grounds. You will find actually Chan Kazi's tomb, and many of the devotees they go there to offer their obeisances. And there's a very beautiful banyan tree, um, where his tomb is being kept. So, and actually Chan Kazi, yeah, he made a verdict that the Muslims should no longer how to say fight with the local devotees in Navadvip. And then to this day, it's like that also. Even if you walk through the Muslim area in Navadvip, um, they don't cause any disturbance. However, if you go to Mathura as a devotee, and if you go down the wrong road, then you can be in a lot of trouble because there's a lot of Muslims also in Mathura. If you go down the wrong road and you don't know where you're going, and you go into a Muslim neighborhood, you know, you can be in a lot of trouble. They can start to bring out their weapons to attack you. So, you know, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was amazing how he was able to convert Chan Kazi, and then he made all of the Muslims in the area basically favorable for Krishna consciousness. At least they did not cause any more disturbance, you know, in the land of Navadvip. So, Chan Kazi is a devotee in one sense, you know, and actually many of the devotees they go there to offer their, you know, respects to Chan Kazi when they're in Navadvip. It's part of their pilgrimage. When during the COVID time, when I was in Australia, then me and my friend Harinam Ananda, we would do Harinam every day. And so even though the government and there's so much oppression, so many people saying that, you know, we should not do this and, you know, it's not good. You know, many different things they were saying about us, you know, and you know, Iskcon temples, they didn't even want us to come to stay in their temple. They weren't, you know, they basically like banned us, saying, you know, that we're like what do you call it? Rebellious, and we're fanatics, and we're causing bad publicity and all these things. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted the Sankirtan to go on, you know, to purify our own hearts and to purify all living entities. And there's many instances when there was riots in Australia, or not really riots, but there was like political parades. Like many people, they didn't agree with all the like severe lockdowns that were happening in Australia. So there were many parades. And whenever me and Harinamananda Prabhu and then some other devotees, we would go to these like not parade, what's the word I'm looking for? We would go there to challenge and we would do Harinam there. And then all the local people there would join in and they would support us and they would also chant Hare Krishna and they'd have their banners read like, Kovin is like, like this. And so it was really effective actually, preaching. So, yes, there's so many blessings when you perform Sankirtan. The Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also performed Sankirtan. Even when there was obstacles, then he would still um, go out there and chant Hare Krishna. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that. So yeah, anyone else like to read? We can read one more and then we can close it off for today. Would anyone like to finish off reading for today? Be our last reader. Maybe David, Prabhu David.
Okay, I'll read.
You can read for us for
Yes.
a couple paragraphs.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
This
Krishna.
incident shows clearly that the Lord was not a so-called timid Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is a fearless devotee of the Lord, and for the right cause, he can take any step suitable for the purpose. Arjuna was also a Vaishnava devotee of Lord Krishna, and he fought valiantly for the satisfaction of the Lord. Similarly, Rajangaji, or Hanuman, was also a devotee of Lord Rama, and he gave lessons to the non-devotee party of Ravana. The principles of Vaishnavism are to satisfy the Lord by all means. A Vaishnava is by nature a non-violent, peaceful living being, and he has all the good qualities of God. But when the non-devotee blasphemes the Lord or his devotee, the Vaishnava never tolerates such impudency. After this incident, do you want me to continue?
Yeah, please continue.
After this incident, the Lord began to preach and propagate his Bhagavata Dharma, or Sankirtana movement, more vigorously. And whoever stood against this propagation of the Yuga Dharma, or duty of the age, was properly punished by various types of chastisement. Two Brahmana gentlemen named Kapala and Gopala, who also happened to be maternal uncles of the Lord, were inflicted with leprosy by way of chastisement. And later, when they were repentant, they were accepted by the Lord. In the course of his preaching work, he used to send daily all his followers, including Srila Nityananda Prabhu and Thakura Haridasa, two chief whips of his party, from door to door to preach the Srimad Bhagavatam. All of Navadip was surcharged with his Sankirtan movement, and his headquarters were situated at the house of Srivasa Thakura and Sri Advaita Prabhu, two of his chief householder disciples. These two learned heads of the Brahmana community were the most ardent supporters of Lord Chaitanya's movement. Sri Advaita Prabhu was the chief cause for this advent of the Lord. When Advaita Prabhu saw that the total human society was full of materialistic activities and devoid of devotional service, which alone could have saved mankind from the threefold miseries of material existence, he, out of his causeless compassion for the age-worn human society, prayed fervently for the incarnation of the Lord and continually worship the Lord with water of the Ganges and leaves of the holy Tulasi tree. As far as preaching work in the Sankirtana movement was concerned, everyone was expected to do his daily share according to the order of the Lord. Want me to continue? Once Nityananda Prabhu and Srila Haridasa Thakura were walking down a main road, and on the way they saw a roaring crowd assembled. Upon inquiring from passerbys, they understood that two brothers named Jagay and Madhe were were creating a public disturbance in a drunken state. They also heard that these two brothers were born in a respectable Brahmana family, but because of low association, they had turned into debauchees of the worst type. They debauchees of the worst type. They were not only drunkards, but also meat eaters, woman hunters, dacoits, and sinners of all description. Srila Nityananda Prabhu heard all of these stories and decided that these two fallen souls must be the first to be delivered. If they were delivered from their sinful life, then the good name of Lord Chaitanya would be even still more glorified. Thinking in this way, Nityananda Prabhu and Haridasa pushed their way through the crowd and asked the two brothers to chant the holy name of Lord Harry. The drunken brothers became enraged upon the request and attacked Nityananda Prabhu with filthy language. Both brothers chased them a considerable distance. In the evening, the report of the preaching work was submitted to the Lord, and he was glad to learn that Nityananda and Haridasha had attempted to deliver such a stupid pair of fellows. The next day, Nityananda Prabhu went to see the brothers, and as soon as he approached them, one of them threw a piece of earthen pot at him. This struck him in the forehead, and immediately blood began to flow. But Nityananda Prabhu was so kind that instead of protesting this heinous act, he said, "It does not matter that you have thrown this stone at me. I still request you to chant the holy name of Lord Hari." One of the brothers, Jagai, was astonished to see this behavior of Nityananda Prabhu, and he at once fell down to his feet and asked him to pardon his sinful brother. When Madhai again attempted to hurt Nityananda Prabhu, Jagai stopped him and implored him to fall down at his feet. In the meantime, the news of Nityananda's injury reached the Lord, who at once hurried to the spot in a fiery and angry mood. The Lord immediately invoked his Sudarsana Chakra, the Lord's ultimate weapon shaped like a wheel, to kill the sinners, but Nityananda Prabhu reminded him of his mission. The mission of the Lord was to deliver the hopelessly fallen souls of Kali Yuga, and the brothers Jagai and Madhai were typical examples of these fallen souls. 90% of the population of this age resembles these brothers, despite high birth and mundane respectability. According to the verdict of the revealed scriptures, the total population of the world at this age will be of the lowest Sudra quality or even lower. It should be noted that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never acknowledged the stereotype caste system by birthright. Rather, he strictly followed the verdict of the Shastras in the matter of one's svarupa, or a real identity. When the Lord was invoking his Sudarsana Chakra and Srila Nityananda Prabhu was imploring him to forgive the two brothers, both the brothers fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord and begged his pardon for their gross behavior. The Lord was also asked by Nityananda Prabhu to accept these repenting souls, and the Lord agreed to accept them on one condition, that they henceforth completely give up all their sinful activities and habits of debauchery. Both the brothers agreed and promised to give up all their sinful habits, and the kind Lord accepted them and did not again refer to their past misdeeds. This is the specific kindness of Lord Chaitanya. In this age, no one can say that he is free from sin. It is impossible for anyone to say this. But Lord Chaitanya accepts all kinds of sinful persons on the one condition that they promise not to indulge in sinful habits after being spiritually initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. There are a number of instructive points to be observed in this incident of the two brothers. In this Kali Yuga, practically all people are of quality of Jagai and Madhai. If they want to be relieved from the reactions of their misdeeds, they must take shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after spiritual initiation, thus refrain from those things which are prohibited in the Shastras. The prohibitory rules are dealt with in the Lord's teachings to Srila Rupi Goswami.
Okay, Jad, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
David,
Krishna.
wow, you're such a nice reader.
Thank you.
So, David, have you heard of that pastime before?
No,
Really? What did you
Mm.
think?
it made me laugh.
Yeah,
I knew that
it's really good.
I knew that Nityananda was the one that was the most forgiving. I always knew that. I didn't know exactly. I didn't hear the stories of why he was so forgiving. So it's interesting to hear this story. Um, it seems like he's got kind of a uh he's kind of like an anchor for the Lord in a way to make him refrain from uh punishing more severely. He has a lot of mercy. He shows great mercy and patience.
Yeah, yeah, extremely. Yeah, Nityananda Prabhu is
We all need
yeah,
an anchor.
extremely merciful. Yeah, actually, they say if you want to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, you have to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And the way you do that is following in his footsteps, going out there and trying to share Krishna consciousness with others.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and in these pastimes, like Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu would go house to house, knocking on the door, and they'd say, I can't remember the Bengali now, but say, please chant the holy name of Krishna, make Krishna your life and soul, please worship Krishna like this. And then, then the householders will say, no, we're not going to worship Krishna. And then just because they said Krishna, they're like, went into ecstasy, the Jai, Jai, since they said Krishna once, So actually, when you preach, for Krishna's sake, then automatically it's a success. Yeah, regardless of the outcome. Of course, that is a teachings of devotional of bhakti. That we're not so caught up on the result, but the endeavor is the important part. Is the important factor. Yeah. So yeah, this is an amazing pastime, Jagai and Madai, and we're all basically, big Jagai Madais. And so Lord Chaitanya he kills all the miscreants in Kali Yuga by the chanting of the holy name. Of course, in previous times, in previous yugas, then he would use his his disc, Sudarshan Chakra. But in Kali Yuga, then the loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is used to purify the souls, condition souls, to awaken them to their original Krishna consciousness. So anyway, thank you so much. We will end here today. Thank you for joining Srimad Bhagavatam reading. And thank you for all who joined. Those I'm seeing also, Bhakta Koloi, thank you also for joining. Mother Gauri, Noriel, nice to see you, Noriel. I haven't seen you in a long time. And Rasarani, Mother Rasarani, thank you for joining. And who else is there? Srup Damodar, Rasaraj, Tripura, and Prabhu David, Mother Angel, and Prabhu Ryan, Mother Ashraya, thank you all for joining. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's very nice that we can read Srimad Bhagavatam together. Okay. Okay, take care. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Prabhu, before we
Let's
leave,
take picture.
Yeah, sure. A
I
picture?
would like to take picture of everyone. For those who can
Okay.
open their cameras, and for those who are not, it's okay. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. I can see Prabhu Noria is very ready. Okay, everyone, big smile. Look at your cameras. Count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Okay, one more. Big smile this time. Okay, guys. Hare Krishna. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna. Okay, got it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Prabhu
Thank you,
Chaitanya.
everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Good
thank
Hare
you,
evening.
Prabhu.
See you
Thank you
next
so
time.
much. Thank you.
Hare
Next
Krishna.
Monday, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye bye.
Have a nice week. Gauranga.